We're talking to a Michigan man who lived through it in one of the hardest hit cities. 24-hour News 8's Heather Walker spent the day in Sturgis getting the amazing story from the man over there volunteering. Heather.
Yeah, Sue, this story is just heartbreaking and unbelievable.
All of these palms blew off.
Around 5 the morning of the typhoon, Carter Brown and his roommates noticed the first signs of the storm. This is the video he captured. About an hour later, the rain came. It was so heavy it came into their apartment.
It was just like starting to just rain down like a wall of water on all sides.
Then part of the roof fell in.
So then at that point we were like, oh my God, like we gotta go. Let's get downstairs.
They bunkered down in the kitchen.
We all grabbed pillows and put them over our head, and we were just sitting there waiting.
How long were you sitting there waiting?
Maybe an hour. And throughout that hour, water just started rushing down the stairs. It was cascading down, coming through our apartment, through our roommate's room, because his ceiling was exposed. And the shutters, the glass shutters of our windows were slamming against the wall, if you will, and glass was shattering into the apartment.
Then he realized his passport was upstairs.
And I couldn't get my bedroom door open. It took me a few tries to really slam into it. And then I realized it was because there was so much wind, and our roof at that point was completely off. And then we were seeing people running and trying to get out of the water. There was a lot more outside of the apartment because our apartment was higher than the rest of the ground near us. And they were wading and floating through the water, so we were just yelling, like, come in here, and trying to get people into the apartment that we could.
Did you get anyone? Did you help save anyone?
Yeah, there was probably, at one point, we had close to 40 people into the apartment.
Including a woman and her baby.
And she passed over her child. And I wasn't sure if he was alive or not, to be honest, initially. He was completely blue and wasn't making any noise. His eyes were closed, and just ran back into the apartment. And once we got into the apartment, he just started crying, which made me feel a little more hopeful about the situation.
Then in hours, it was over.
All the water just left. It was really crazy.
Just gives me chills listening to him. Coming up at 6, hear the rest of his story, what happened after the storm.
Unbelievable.
I know.
I mean, absolutely terrifying.
I know. And the way he tells it, I feel like I'm there.
Right, because the details are so vivid.
Yes.
And he had to live through that. He couldn't leave, right? I mean,
No.
he had to ride it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Okay, Heather, thank you. A West Michigan man survived the typhoon and is back home tonight, and he's talking to us.
At 5, he described the storm's fury and how he was able to help save about 40 people, including 15 kids.
And we were just taking the children's clothes off, wiping them all down, trying to make sure everyone was dry, putting clothes back on them, whatever we had left that was dry.
Heather Walker's here now with what happened to him after the storm.
Yeah, Brian, the devastation, the real devastation was seen after the storm. We've all seen the pictures, but to live through it is much different.
Dragging boxes or anything they were able to salvage. I think the hardest part was definitely seeing so many bodies just strewn across the island. It was just incredible seeing. At one point I saw a woman laying there with a child on her belly, and they were both gone.
After the typhoon, Carter Brown and a roommate filled backpacks and took off on foot, first looking for coworkers, then to find a way home.
I mean, we were trekking over trees and power lines and bodies, and at some points we were wading through water that was nearly waist deep. We couldn't believe it. And we had said, like, guys, this is our life right now. Like, what is going on? Like, this is crazy.
They made it to their foundation's office and spent 3 days looking for coworkers and helping any way they could. What were those 3 days like?
They were tough. They were really tough.
Carter was then able to get a flight on a cargo plane to Manila. He was one step closer to home, but still surrounded by the storm's devastation.
It was really hard where I was standing. I was holding on the side of the wall, and underneath me on the bench seat was a woman that was on a stretcher that had an IV actively running. And to the left of me were 2 caskets.
Once in Manila, Carter got a flight to the U.S.
I felt very guilty leaving, but I knew that if I wanted to help raise awareness and get the word out for them that I had to save myself as well.
Such an amazing story. Carter says his new mission is to raise money to help those affected by the typhoon. We have information if you'd like to help at woodtv.com.
They'll certainly need a lot of help for a long time to come.
Yeah.
He seems like when he's reacting that he's just numb to it, you know, like he just can't believe so much of
Still
what he
processing.
saw. Yeah.
As he said, he's still numb. He doesn't really know what he's feeling.
All right, Heather, thank you.